Friends, I'd like to invite you to participate in an experimental philosophy course, the Intro to Philosophy for Ecological Activism. Do you ever find yourself wondering if you're truly living out your values in this strange, chaotic, and possibly simulated world? Are you acting in accordance with an ethical system based on a coherent understanding of how the universe actually works? Does it actually work? In other words, what's going on here in this thing called existence, and are your activities consistent with that understanding, or total lack thereof? These are absurdly big questions. They are philosophical questions, and they're precisely the questions we're going to tackle in this class that's not a class. The fundamental premise of the course is that these absurdly big questions do matter. In fact, they matter so much that they shouldn't just be asked in a college class or between the covers of a book, because what we think about the nature of things affects how we interact with nature. Even if you're living under a proverbial rock, you may have noticed that the rock we're on is in a state of ecological crisis. I don't just mean ecology in the strictly environmental sense, but the broader etymological sense, having to do with the ecos, the home. And so ecological thinking entails seeing our planet, our species, and ourselves as a series of homes within homes within homes, within homes within homes. This course is an invitation to ask yourself how to manage those homes within the limits of your intellectual capacity and individual agency. It's like home ec, except the home in question is the world, and instead of cooking, there's philosophy. Also, there's raps. Spit it to the rhythm when a teacher spit it, cause that's the way that ancient teachers did it. Hit it to the roots of the whole tradition, get to know the wisdom with the soulful rhythm. The raps of the griot, the ancient bard who had a musical way to say the way things are. When the thought gets hard, it's embedded in art, so when you learn, you're motivated to play your own part. Whereas most philosophy courses culminate in some form of paper that very few will ever read, this course culminates in a form of action. Participants will devise and pursue some ecological activism project that reflects or embodies their philosophical understanding of the world. Maybe you discover you're a radical materialist hedonist and you decide to start a community pleasure garden like the Epicureans of ancient Athens. Maybe you discover you're a transcendental idealist with an implicit responsibility to the non-human other and you start a campaign to save rainforest biodiversity. Maybe you decide you're a process theologian destined to satisfy God's ontological cravings for aesthetic complexity as an eco-rapper. It happens. If you've followed me for a while, you've often heard me hold forth on the value of extra-institutional education, liberating school from the schoolhouse and making it a form of unfettered collaborative play. Here's where we find out if that actually works. Here's where we deliberately conceptualize our relation to the world collaboratively, artistically, and authentically, and see if we can actually change that shit for the best. You've heard of underground rap. Here's underground education. We don't need anything but one another and the internet to create a holism between our intellectual understanding of our world and the actions we take to enrich it. Join me for the Intro to Philosophy for Ecological Activism, brought to you by Grokist.